Sweating in the heat. Is summer sauna a smart choice? That's something I'm going to talk about today, so stick around. Hi, my name is Sachiaki Takamiya. I am the author of the Ikigai Diet and Ikigai Bio-Hacking. So it is August already. In Japan, it is August 2nd today. So I'm actually recording this video the day before I upload this video. Yeah, but I suppose it will be August 2nd when I'm uploading it in North America too. Yeah, because Japan is kind of one day earlier. So anyway, so how's your summer going on? Have you been watching the Olympic Games in Paris? I haven't been following Olympic Games actually, but one sport that I'm interested in is soccer because Japan is now going to the tournament section. And tonight, by the time I'm recording this video tonight, yeah, Japan will be playing against Spain in the first match in the tournament. So I'm really excited to watch that game. But other than that, I haven't been following the Olympic Games at all. And how about the Lionsgate portal? I talked about the Lionsgate portal. It is from July 26th until August 12th, and August 8th is the peak. And I told you that I'm publishing my new book, Live Wiser, Not Smarter, on that day, August 8th. Actually, this is the sample copy. That's why there's this sort of line in the middle. So the Lionsgate portal is supposed to be the period when the kind of spiritual energy is sort of poured into. So it's a great time for meditation, visiting power spot and stuff like that. And the reason I went hiking last Monday was because of that. It was a good time to go mountain hiking because you go to an elevated place. This is a sort of sacred place, especially in Japan. Mountains are regarded to be a sacred area, and there are many shrines are located on top of the mountain. Usually shrines are in the village below the mountain, but at the top of the mountain, there is a small shrine, and that is the main sort of section or main part where the gods reside. So mountain hiking is very much a spiritual pilgrimage, really. And I talked about Shugendo in Ikigai Bio-Hacking. Shugendo is a Japanese spiritual practices done in mountains. And they do a lot of mountain hiking as part of their training too. Do you go mountain hiking often? Is it something? This is something we do in summer too in Japan. Many people go mountain hiking in summer, partly because there's a summer vacation and people have more time to do that kind of thing. How about sauna? Do you like having sauna? And do you have sauna regularly? And do you have sauna in summertime too? Well, personally, I don't take sauna so much in summer. I have sauna more in winter. Usually, I have sauna once a week in wintertime, but during the warm month, probably once a month or even just once every 2 months or so, not so often. This is because of the circannual rhythm. I usually do things based on the season, and I feel like having sauna or having hot bath in wintertime, I do it. But in summertime, I don't feel like having a hot bath or sauna. So even the hot bath, the month of August, maybe mid-July to August, I don't have a hot bath at night. It's too hot. I just take a cold shower. But anyway, last Monday, after my mountain hiking, I went to a hot spring facility because I usually like to go to a hot spring facility after mountain hiking. It's a good to relieve your muscle tension. And usually the hot spring facility in Japan has a sauna too. So I had a sauna for the first time in a long time too. And then guess what? I mean, immediately I went to the sauna room. Oh, it was very hot and I didn't feel like staying there. And I could only stay there for just 6 minutes, which is much less because usually I stay in the sauna room for about 12 minutes, maybe 10 to 12 minutes, but never 6 minutes. but I could only stay there 6 minutes. 6 minutes was a limit. And then that was the first round. The second round, I could stay there for 8 minutes. And the third round, I ended up staying there for 12 minutes, partly because there was a TV in the sound room and they were showing Olympic Games. And then there was showing like a judo match. And then the match didn't end. It kind of took longer than I expected. So I had to stay in the sound room to watch the result. But otherwise, I wouldn't have stayed there for 12 minutes. Maybe, I mean, 6 or 8 minutes was enough. So, what is the point of having sauna when it is hot outside? You don't need to have a heat exposure because you're constantly doing heat exposure. When you jog outside, it is like having sauna. You get sweaty and you do have a aerobic exercise. That's a sort of cardio. So you don't need to have a sauna to do that. I go jogging in the morning between 7:30 to 8:30, but after 8, it is already hot outside. So when I'm jogging, I do feel like having a sauna. It is sweaty, hot. It is like I am doing deliberate heat exposure every morning. Then when it comes to cycling, because I go grocery shopping by bicycle, I usually go shopping during the day, in the middle of the day, when it is very hot, and it is a deliberate heat exposure. I don't need to have sauna to gain the benefit of heat exposure in summertime. But one thing I discovered having sauna was that because in Japan we have sauna, mizuburo, gaikyoku, 3 steps. So sauna, mizuburo is a cold plunge. There's a cold pool. So you get in there for like 3 minutes after the sauna. And then gaikyoku is outdoor rest. So when I did the cold plunge, yeah, it was refreshing. It was refreshing to be in cold water. And I don't do a cold plunge on its own. I take a cold shower in the morning, but not a cold plunge. So it was a great opportunity to do the cold plunge. So because usually sauna and cold plunge is a set in Japan. When you have a sauna, you do cold plunge. So it's a great opportunity to do the cold plunge. In that sense, it is good. And also, in Japan, we have sauna and hot tub. So especially having a hot tub, it's a good muscle relaxation. It's a great way to relieve the tension in your muscle. So after a long hike, it was fantastic. And when you exercise a lot, when you go jogging every day or when you go jogging 3 times a week, maybe it's good to have a sauna at the end of the week to relax your muscles. So as a muscle relaxation, maybe having a sauna and mizuburo is a good idea. But other than that, to just gain the benefit of deliberate heat exposure, I don't see any reason that you need to have sauna because you can do in so many other ways. And instead, what I like to do is I like to go river swimming. When I go river swimming, because the water is very cold, so when you swim, you are just doing a deliberate cold exposure. But when you go outside, when you are outside under the sun, you are doing a heat exposure. So it's like a cycling of heat and cold. It's just like having sauna and mizuburo. So I think every season there are appropriate activities to do, and you don't need to follow the same regimen throughout the year. You can change depending on the season. But that's how I like to do. How about you? Do you still like having saunas in summer? So I have talked about Japanese sauna style, this sauna, mizuburo, and gaikyoku. It's all in the new book, Live Wiser, Not Smarter. And I talked about Circannual rhythm too. That is also in this book. Okay, that's it for today. Thank you for watching. Again, my name is Sachiaki Takamiya. I am the author of the Ikigai Diet and Ikigai Bio-Hacking. If you like this video, please give me your thumb up and subscribe to my channel. And please leave your comment. How do you feel about having a sauna or hot bath in summertime? Thank you. Well, I will see you in the next video. Live with your Ikigai!